Hello everyone, I'm going to do a quick video today on a sample final expense presentation. Today we're going to be specifically focusing on effects. This can apply to term and other kinds of insurance, but for the time being this is what we're going to focus on today. So first thing you want to do, and we're assuming at this point you went over you're sitting with the client or you're talking to them on the phone, you've already done your introduction, so now we're getting to the point where you're fact finding and getting ready to quote them and pick the company you want to display for them. So first thing is, we always want to ignore face amount of premium. Money doesn't buy life insurance, your health does. So we don't care if they want $30,000. We don't care we don't care about any of that because we don't know. They could be on dialysis and have a budget of $20 a month, and we don't want to build our presentation around I want $30,000 in coverage because chances are they can't get, or in many cases even afford that much, even if they could get it. So we leave this blank, and when you leave it blank, the software will automatically run the case at 10,000. For term, it automatically runs it at 100,000. So you can see the options that are available to you. We're going to leave this, we're going to put female actually, and we're going to leave this as level. So this doesn't matter because we're going to put in underwriting information. So this box will get grayed out anyway. We're going to put in 65, so average senior, and we'll say 5'8", 140. So pretty average height, weight. We're going to say non-smoke, and in many cases you're not going to find out about the payment type initially. Some people have verbal kind of tricks to do that, but we're just going to leave it as bank draft for now. Now when we come over here, you can see there's two fields, health condition and medication. So if you have the medications, those are always best to enter. If you only have a health condition, for example, if someone had maybe cancer 10 years ago, they probably don't remember what they took. So in that case, it's fine to enter the health condition. Or if it's a condition for which they don't take medications, maybe it's something more, maybe like an innocent heart murmur, they might not take a medication for that. But when you have the medications, those are best, and when you have the medications, you only have to enter the medications. So let's say this client is taking Abilify, and she says it's for depression. So we're going to click depression. When was it first filled? We'll say 2017, taking it for a little while. And she says, no, I don't have major depressive disorder. So I use this as an example, and I'll demonstrate in the results why it's important. Abilify is an antipsychotic. So there are some people that use it for, it's not unheard of for major depression, but many carriers are only going to see it as a antipsychotic medication, especially on the term side. Effects, you have a little bit more breathing room. We're also going to put down Tamoxifen. So let's say she had breast cancer many years ago. So we'll say it's in the past. And you can see the toolkit's going to walk you through the chain of questioning, so you ask all the relevant questions to your client. So she says, okay, I had breast cancer, so it's not any of these, so we're going to say other. First fill, let's say she was cured in 2017, and she's been on Tamoxifen ever since. And we'll say it was not stage A prostate cancer. She has not had cancer more than once. And we'll say that she has not had metastatic cancer, so it did not spread through her body. And we'll say it was not pancreatic liver ovarian. So I have every carrier in the system turned on, so there's going to be a number of questions. Most people aren't contracted with 35 products. Neither am I, but for the time being, we're just going to go through every carrier. And we'll just say she takes a blood pressure med. This is not going to affect anything, but just so that we have it in there. So pretty basic case here, nothing too crazy. And now we're going to hit get quote. And of course, before I hit get quote, you want to follow up and just say, no recent hospitalizations. You haven't had, any kind of crazy things that we haven't listed explicitly on the medication list here. So this is her entire health profile as far as she's aware. And here we go. So we're going to take a look at our carriers. So a few things you want to take note of, and this is more of a basic overview of the toolkit, but carrier offers Social Security billing. You're going to see the star. If there's a medication of concern, you're going to see the red dot. So CFG Abilify might, cause an adverse decision because again, it is an antipsychotic. It's a little bit more severe than just a depression medication. Same for AHL, the rate's calculated by nearest age. So you'll notice I put in age 65. So if this person has a birthday, next week, I want to put in actually 66 because that's how they calculate. Most companies use the age that you are. A few use the nearest age, especially on the term side. But I'm going to look at some results that I care about here. So let's start from the bottom here. So for many carriers, they're going to see tamoxifen or any cancer medication, even if it's for maintenance, and they're going to take it down to modified or decline, whatever the worst rating is for cancer, because she's currently taking it. Some carriers won't care. You can see there's a number of level options. So this is a great example as to why it's important to ask for the medications, because if you didn't, you would have to, pretty much go by the client's word that I'm taking, I'm a client taking a current cancer medication. You're going to underwrite that case incorrectly. When we keep scrolling here, we can see some carriers that, you can see Trinity here, they don't like Abilify. So that's going to go graded. They see that as a psychotic medication. Liberty Bankers, they also see that as a... Liberty Bankers is pretty unpredictable, as we say here, with their decision process with mental medications. So just proceed with caution with them. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they declined it. But best case scenario, you're going to get modified with Liberty Bankers. You can see Sentinel doesn't like tamoxifen. So, when you go through the carriers, you're going to pick up all this important information, mostly based on the medications. And if a carrier is excluded, of course, you're going to see why. So when we scroll up here, so now we have our carriers here. So I haven't even shown the client my screen at this point. We do have some people who will kind of show it as if they're shopping for the client. So they turn the screen around and say, you probably recognize a few of these carriers. You've probably seen some of these on TV. So I'm going to do all the shopping for you, pick the best one for you. So let's say in this case we like Foresters. So now we're going to hit the compare button. So this is now we're getting down to the close. So we might go over Foresters, how long they've been in business, give them some basic information that you should know because you're contracted with Foresters. And we're going to give them their bronze, silver, gold, as I call it, the 3 close system. Some people show 1 quote, some people show 2. I mean, you can kind of do it your own way, however you feel comfortable, but I think most people show 3. You can see all of her information pushes over to the left, and we have everything else on the on the right. Then we have everything else on the left here. So Foresters plan right. I hit compare, and we have our 3 quotes here. So at this point, I would spin my device around, or if I'm on telesales, I would read them out. Okay, Ms. Jones, these are your 3 options: bronze option, silver option, gold option. Which one works best for you? Let's say she says, "Oh, that's a pretty good rate. What can I get for $100 a month?" So now it's fine for us to go by premium because we know what she qualifies for, and she has an idea of what it costs. So when we quote $100 a month, we can get her just a little bit over $24,000 of coverage. So that's how you walk through the presentation and segment it off. First, we're fact-finding, putting in the underwriting. Second thing we're doing is we're going by the carrier tiles, and we're selecting, just to go back here, we're looking at all the different information that the quoter gives us. So does a carrier have Social Security billing? Are there any medications that are of concern? Is it a graded policy? In this case, Foresters Preferred is not. Is it going to cut my commission? If it's going modified or graded, the software will tell you why. That's not too important at the point of sale because it is what it is. But for a product like Prime Term, it might be interesting to show the client so that they understand what they're getting with their policy. But we take all the available information to us. And a good thing to remember, too, when we run the quote by 10,000, chances are, with a little bit of a variation, the order of the carriers by price for 10,000 is pretty much equivalent to what it'll be for most other face amounts. So if Foresters is the 3rd cheapest carrier that you have, chances are it's going to be like the 3rd or 4th, even when you change the face amount to a higher or lower amount. And then, of course, when we go back to the compare page, that's when we're actually closing them down. So by doing that, you've walked the client through the sale, you've made it more valid in their eyes, you've shown them that you're shopping for them, and when we get to the compare page, you can even display that these are your 3 pre-qualified options. It makes it feel a little bit more real for them. Makes it show them that you can't really give someone the "I need to think about it" objection because they've shopped for you. You've agreed on a price that you think is fair. You've shown them the options across the price range. So that's a pretty general overview of how to do a final expense presentation with the toolkit.